The tropics continue to be busy, and we anticipate that continuing for the rest of hurricane season. We're still tracking Hurricane Jose. This is the Category 1 storm, packing 75-mile-per-hour winds, gust up to 90 miles per hour. It's churning just outside our neighborhood in the Atlantic there, but it's expected to have very minimal impact on us and our forecast. So further along around New York, all the way up to Nantucket, we have those tropical storm warnings and watches that are going into effect, because I think that's where we'll feel really the brunt of it. For us, the impacts locally will be slightly higher wind gusts, especially along the coast. So we'll see that, and we could also have the increased risk of rip current. So here is what Jose is going to do. Doing another loop-de-loop. That's kind of been the story of this storm. It's going to eventually dissipate to a tropical storm and then a low pressure system by Thursday, and then just sort of spin right around there in the Atlantic, continuing to just exist as low pressure. As we look closely at it and how it impacts the coastline, we can see wind gusts up to 34 miles per hour in Ocean City, more than 20-mile-per-hour wind gust in Norfolk. We will see some clouds pushing in, and we could get a scattered shower on the back end of that. But as this lifts north and east, we'll also begin to see a little bit of break in the clouds later on this evening and tonight. And then we'll start to see those stronger wind gusts make their way up to the Nantucket area. Most of the heavier rain does remain offshore, and that's certainly a little bit of good news, but they're still going to get some rain associated with this. We turn our attention now to Hurricane Maria. It's a Category 5 storm. It went through rapid intensification yesterday, then became a Category 4, back to a Category 5, and we knew it would re-strengthen once again, especially as it gets over those warm waters. And these islands, unfortunately, were not enough to really slow it down. Now, this is going to be making its way over to Puerto Rico. It's just been an exceptionally busy hurricane season. A lot of factors pointing to it being that way, and we continue to see this active season. So when you have a La Nina present or on the verge of a La Nina, you can get lighter winds in terms of shear. Let's talk about shear for just a moment. It's just wind speeds that change with height and direction the further higher you go up in the atmosphere. So, for example, let's say in the first floor of a building the winds are 10 miles per hour, and the second floor they're 20, and the fourth floor they're 30, and they're going to different directions. Hurricanes don't like that. But with that La Nina in place, we don't have that to deal with this. Also, the ocean waters are very warm, so that's going to give us really fuel for those storms. 80 degrees and above, that's when we can get that. So mainly, the wind shear is not a problem for these storms, and the water is warm. Perfect recipe to get them going, and that's what we've been seeing all hurricane season long. So as we look now at the track of Maria, it's going to remain that Category 5 storm for quite some time, and then as it makes its way around Puerto Rico, it's going to be a Category 4 storm. I don't use the word weakening when I'm talking about major hurricanes. Category 4 is still extremely powerful, and it's not something that Puerto Rico necessarily needs to see. So hurricane warnings are going to go into effect there. From there, it's going to make its track around the Dominican Republic, and then potentially impacting some of those islands just outside the Bahamas. So we'll watch out for that. And from there, it's still going to hold on to its major hurricane status for quite some time. In fact, even by Sunday, it's still a Category 3 storm. A major hurricane is anything from Category 3 and above. So that's what we're going to be dealing with out of Maria. Now let's talk about the track of it besides that. What's it going to do after it gets past the Bahamas and so forth? So we're looking at what we call the spaghetti models, and we can see that most of the consensus, most of the guidance is to curve it out to sea. We hope that it stays that way and not impact life and property anymore. And hurricanes do have a purpose. Their purpose is to redistribute some of the heat that builds up at the equator. We're hoping that that can happen in nature. It wants to redistribute that heat to the poles. We're hoping that can happen without disrupting life and property. Okay, so if it becomes a fish storm after this, that would be certainly some good news. 7-day forecast, a recap of that for our local weather. 82 degrees today. A slight chance for a scattered shower. We're up to 87 degrees Wednesday. A lot more sunshine there. Thursday, a high of 86, 85 Friday, and fall begins. But it feels more like summer with that high right there in the mid-80s. The weekend, I think, looks great. 86 Saturday, right around the 85-degree mark for most areas Sunday, and I call that victory weather. That's good football weather to get out there and enjoy. Monday, a high right around 84 degrees.